Welcome back, guys. I want to say thank you, first of all, for all the subscribers. The channel's growing, and it's all thanks to you guys. The only thing I want to remind you is please hit the like button. It does help spread the video around. But today what we have here is a small project. I'm pulling the oil pan off of a Chevy Trailblazer, and if any of you guys have ever been in there to do that, it's not an easy task. Number one, the differential housing and the axle shaft for the front goes right through the oil pan. So I did manage to get the outer carrier or outer bearing, support bearing for the half shaft on the passenger side off, and I did loosen up the differential from the oil pan so that can be pulled aside. There's a shaft that goes all the way through, and I need a puller or a slide hammer to do it. So I have the slide hammer here. It's really designed to go on a 3-jaw puller. We're going to make a nut that goes on here that will actually hold this 6mm bolt. So it'll go in, I'll be able to screw this into the axle shaft, screw it onto here, and use the slide hammer to knock it out. Well, that's what the plan is. So it should be a pretty simple task, but every time I say that, it turns into a monumental project. This has been a monumental project right from the get-go. It started with a timing chain that had to be replaced for a cam crank correlation code, and in order to pull the front cover off, you have to pull the oil pan to get to the bolt that holds the oil sump pickup tube in. Okay, if it was a 2-wheel drive, this wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but lo and behold, some engineer at General Motors decided to run the front axle shafts or the carrier right through the oil pan. So that's where we are now. We finally got everything stripped away. This looks like the last thing I need to do in order to actually drop that oil pan and get to the initial project of the timing chain. All right, so I'll see you in the lathe in a couple of minutes. I'll be right back. All right, so I looked around. I have a 3/4 16 tap, nice Cleveland twist drill tap. Still got Cosmoline on it. And if you guys watched one of my first videos I ever made, where I made the knobs for the bandsaw covers, I got a piece of 4140 laying around that I used as an arbor to turn the back side of them. So we'll chuck this up. I'll come in here, I'll do the back side first. I'll drill this, tap it 3/4 16, and then we'll flip it around, put a little bit of a nose on it, a little bit of an angle, and we'll drill a hole through there, 6mm to hold that bolt, and hopefully it'll thread on, butt up, and that'll be that. Okay. All right, so we're going to put a center, spot it in here. I don't know, run something. I don't know what I got here. Is it 9/16? We'll run a 9/16 drill in there, and then 11/16 is going to be the tap drill for the 3/4 16. Okay. There's brass chips all over this thing. I was cleaning up, dressing up some punches that had been rolled over, so I spent a little time cleaning up all my punches, and man, that brass flies everywhere. All right. that down a little bit. About an inch. Way I get plenty of thread. Last thing I want to do is use a slide hammer and pull that thread out. That looks pretty good. We'll go in with the 11/16. Dress that up. That does not seem like it wants to cut. Alright, so I'm just going to bore this out. It's hitting something hard in here. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it would be hard in there. I tried another drill and it's doing the same thing. So I'm just going to bore it out real quick. Alright, so we're about 685 right now. Just grabbing a couple extra thousandths and go nice and slow. And that looks pretty good for a for a hole that's going to be tapped. I don't know what the heck was in there that was so hard. It really grabbed that drill. Once I got the boring bar in there and pulled the first little bit out, it wasn't bad at all. I don't know. All right, so that's plenty for a tap. Let's take a quick peek. So it's 688. We're supposed to be 686. Close enough for a tap. I'll be back when I'm set up with the tap, and we'll run it in there. Alright, so I got a tap follower in there. I really need to make a bigger tap follower. This one's kind of small for what I'm doing. Alright, let's just make sure this can fit. Alright, and that's good. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the 6mm hole through there so it's all concentric. Then we'll flip it around, put a little bit of a nose on it, and go from there. Alright, I'll bring you back when I'm all set up to drill the hole. Alright, I got a 6mm drill, and I want to drill pretty much to the end of this piece right here, which will be pretty close to the end of the flutes. So we'll pop that sucker in there. Somewhere around there, and then I'll cut it off from the other side and put a nose on it. Alrighty. Should be enough. Just going to put a little bit of a deburr on this. Let's actually put a little chamfer on the end of that, just so nobody gets cut on it. Where's my chamfering tool? There we are. Alright, I'll be back when I flip it around and we'll cut it off. Alright, I think I drilled a little bit up into this thread, so we'll just cut the thread off. Alright, let's set it up to make an angle and put a little nose on it, and we should be done. Bring you back when I'm set up. Alright, so we got the compound set at 30. We'll see how that looks. I just want to reduce it a little bit, make sure the nose can get into where it needs to go. The bolt fits in. Should hold it from the other side. Alright, let's cut some KJLM. That looks good enough. A little piece of sandpaper. Alright, I'm going to take it out, blow it off, and let's see if it fits. Alright, it's all blown out. Drop this inside here. And it looks like it's going to do what I want it to do. Real basic, but it's got plenty of thread in there, so I can't strip this out. And the shaft is threaded roughly about a 1/2 inch in, and this is a 10 grade bolt, so well, 10 grade in metric, whatever that is. So that should work. And if it ever has to be modified for a bigger hole, we can do that, or make a new one, obviously, but this one will do the trick. After I'm done with this, I might make the hole a little bit bigger, and then make it so I can drop a bushing in there with smaller holes. That way you can have a handful of bushings. You don't have to need a whole bunch of these. Okay, looks good. Alright, so that was a short little project. That really didn't take too long, other than the drill. I'm going to run those 2 drills that I had, little 16th drills, through the sharpener. Maybe it was just they were a little bit dull, but it really chatted a lot. I don't know why. It was like there was a hard piece in there. I suppose that could have been something. When I went through it with the carbide boring bar, it ate it right up. So, little diversion in the operations that we were going to go. So, it's nice to have a lathe and a milling machine in your house. When I was at work, I was telling them, well, I can make an adapter to do that, and I'll be back tomorrow. And everybody's like, wow, well, you're going to make it in your basement? Sure. You guys know, you guys that are watching me, you know, you can't live without a lathe and a milling machine in your basement, right? So this should get me out of a bind. I don't have to buy a GM specific tool to do this. We'll just alter the one we have. All right, we didn't do any changes to the physical characteristics of this particular piece. We just made it more useful. All right. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Click the like button, click the subscribe. I thank you guys that have been subscribing. We're over 100 subscribers now. To me, that's huge. That's absolutely huge to me. I never thought that it was that many people were going to watch this channel, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully it keeps growing. And don't forget to click the like button, because that will spread it around a lot more people will see it. Okay? Again, I thank you guys a lot. I'll see you next time, next project. Got a few projects coming up. Okay? Thanks a lot, guys.